Hello, my name is Grandpa. Thank you for tuning in to Trauma and God. In this series, Yaya has talked about things that hinder us from finding God and things we can do to help us overcome obstacles to finding Him. Today, Yaya has asked me to tell you what it's been like to live with her. Today's subject is living with someone with PTSD. First, let me say three very important things. I've loved my wife deeply since the second time I saw her. There's a story behind that, but I don't have time to tell you. And I've loved her for over 50 years. She's the most amazing, brave, open, insightful, and honest person I've ever known. But for many years, I struggled to understand her. I'd not known her long when I discovered she came from a very dysfunctional family. I soon learned that her parents had deposited her in English schools without her knowing any of the English language. After a few times of dating, I learned that she and her family were evacuated as refugees from a war zone in the Far East, losing everything they owned. After 15 years together, we identified all the symptoms of classic narcissism in her mother's behavior. But after 25 years of married life, I learned she had been raped by her father. So I was married to and living with someone who'd experienced trauma upon trauma upon trauma. What is it like and what have I learned? Firstly, her actions and responses were often out of proportion or not even obviously connected to the circumstances that we just experienced. So I learned early on that PTSD survivors will relive past events repeatedly that I was not present in or even did not know anything about. The present triggers that connected her to those past events did not affect me, but they are real. Secondly, I'm a very tactile person. Hugs and touch are important to me, and they're how I respond to other people that I see are hurting. But when I knew Yaya was hurting, she would recoil from my touch, even respond with fear to any attempt I made to hold her. So I had to learn that PTSD survivors can feel caught in the trauma in their mind and emotions. They probably are feeling the need to escape, the typical fight, flight, and freeze responses. Holding them, even touching them, can feel like being trapped. Thirdly, emotional reactions and negative responses, whether physical or verbal, are not logic-driven in the moment, but feeling-driven, and feelings are much harder to describe or explain. Know that PTSD survivors probably can't put into words what's going on inside them in that moment. Be patient and just be present. In time, explanations will emerge. Fourthly, anger is a very appropriate feeling for someone who's been traumatized by events that they were innocently caught up into. So know that when a PTSD survivor is angry or lashes out, even if you're the only person present at the time, it may actually have little or nothing to do with something you have said or done, even if you assume it must be. And fifthly, in unfamiliar settings, a PTSD survivor is always hypervigilant, scanning the room for danger. This limited our social life and resulted in people's hidden motives being scrutinized. She was always looking to find real or imaginary dangers. Know that PTSD survivors have honed this survival skill way beyond what is necessary for most life settings, but they don't believe that. These are 5 important lessons that I have learned. Buried feelings and repressed memories have a habit of eventually emerging, sometimes in unconnected or inappropriate settings. Therefore, to live with a PTSD survivor, you have to keep asking questions, keep looking for answers, and keep knocking on doors. Understanding will come in time, but but the trauma survivor can only explore what's going on inside them in a safe environment. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tested beyond what you can bear. But when you're tested, he will provide a way through so that you can endure it. We have found that verse in the Bible to be true many times over. Let me sum up what I've learned that I could do to live with a PTSD survivor. Number one, commit. Reassure them constantly that you will never leave, no matter what, for better or worse, for richer, for poorer, till death do you part. Number two, they need to be loved. Love covers a multitude of sins. Ask God for his love to fill you constantly to overflowing. Number three, be present. You often don't know what to say or what to do to help them, so don't say or do anything. Just be there. Number four, be patient. Recovery takes time, and it's not a linear progression from brokenness to wholeness. Number five, listen. Let the other person try to explain, and you keep quiet. You can't fix it for them or change it for the better. But number six, you have to speak. There has to be an ongoing conversation, something that continues down the years. Don't ever allow no-go areas to form that you can't talk about. And number seven, don't isolate. Find a safe and honest community and church, a family who don't play religious games and who will let you both be yourselves, whatever that is. The Apostle Paul said, I'm not all that I should be, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. Those seven things will help create that safe and healing environment for the PTSD survivor and their loved ones. So if you found this talk helpful, please subscribe and tell a friend. You may email Yaya at traumaandgod@gmail.com, or you can read her personal story, Snakes in the Loo, at Amazon Books. If this stirs things in you that you need to deal with, please reach out and talk to a mental health professional. In the US, help is available at the following Suicide and Crisis Helpline, 1-800-273-8255, or the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network Helpline at 1-800-656-4673. God is for you, and so are we. Tune in next Thursday for more helpful vlogs.